Our next speaker is Jaap Kamps from University of Amsterdam, and he will present INEX.
I first want to thank the CLEF folks for inviting us, which is a nice gesture. So I report on INEX 2009 because we're still running 2010. It's actually wrong for me then to put Ralph Schenkel here because he only joined as a chair this year in 2010. But okay, let's first start with the motivation or some of the motivation. So INEX started in 2002, and for that we have to blame Norbert Voer and Munia Lalbas, not me. And I had an experience then, which I still have. That is, web stores work perfectly. I find something, I see the snippet, this is dead on relevant. I'm happy, I'm smiling, I click on the result, up loads a very long page, and I'm lost. Again, where's my result? I have to read a lot, or the main advice one of the Google guys told us that they give to normal people is Control F. People that don't know about Control F, I think this is a geeky audience, we all know about Control F. Persons that don't understand the Control F, how you can search within a page, and you tell them, it's things like, this is a miracle, I should have known this saves hours of my life. Okay, Control F is still needed, because that's the only way. Sometimes it's difficult, you have to go back to the snippet, cut and paste something, then Control F the result. So can't we do better? The documents are highly structured. Everything on the web is highly structured. Can't we just find the stuff I need directly? And also, can we use this structure in ways to better express what I want? So use that in queries as well. Okay, there's no time in 10 minutes to go through all details, so we publish a nice volume with LNCS with all the details. I gladly refer to that. The collection, this is something I should tell, of INEX 2009 and 2010, the main collection, I should say, is the Wikipedia corpus, which we got from Wikipedia, transformed into XML, actually added some further annotation to it. So it's a fairly large, nice, but still a corpus which is not as large as the Clue web, and so we don't run into many of these problems yet. That corpus is used by the main TREC, the ad hoc TREC, to look at a number of tasks. We do this XML element retrieval, so any part of the structure, but to compare that to whether the structure actually helps, we also compare that to passage retrieval. So you can also do passage retrieval, arbitrary bits of text. And yeah, for all I care, you can do article retrieval, you can do any type of retrieval. We have 3 tasks, or 4 tasks actually. Thorough task we added back, but explaining what the tasks mean will take more than 10 minutes. Basically, we have a lot of tasks that will cater for different scenarios of use. We have a very thriving book TREC, which doesn't use the Wikipedia corpus, but uses a huge collection of scanned books with, well, the structure a book has. So these are very long books, so hundreds of pages, and actually, yeah, giving that as a result for an informational search might not be very useful. We have an efficiency TREC focusing on the efficiency end and the trade-off against performance. In 2009, we still had an entity ranking TREC, which is the 3rd year we run it. It actually kind of spun off to TREC in 2009 with the web entity search, but we decided to run it one more time because we had a new Wikipedia corpus, and we stopped doing it now. We also had a link to wiki text, a cross-lingual version will spin off to NTCIR, I just learned, which is basically find the links in a corpus. And a link typically is a link, like on the web, to a full document. So finding out links turns out to be very challenging, but actually quite solvable. Finding in links is still a very hard problem. Making the decision when or when not to in-link to a document. We have an XML mining TREC, focusing on classification and clustering, also using the Wikipedia data. We have an interactive TREC that's now using Amazon data, so lots of formal data about books and also reviews, user-generated. Lots of structure in that. And we have a question answering TREC, which is running quite slowly. So we continued that from 2009 to 2010, and I'm not sure too much will happen. So the problem with QA is it's a different crowd than the people normally attending INEX, and it's difficult to get them to attend INEX because there's already other venues for QA around. Given the time available, I thought I'd just pick something which I liked the most about last year. Okay, you have the obligatory scores like this. Some systems do better than others. These are the top 10 runs for one of the tasks, the simplest task, which we call thorough. And I hope it's readable. Well, it's not much on there, it's just dots. So I put the score still on the same vertical axis. Well, this is the score, but the mean score on the vertical axis. And I just put kind of the average number of characters per article these systems retrieve on the horizontal axis. Well, there's no clear pattern, but the interesting thing is actually it goes from, well, between 1,000 and 2,000 characters, so relatively like 1 or 2 pages A4, to 10,000. So there's a huge spread. So even the systems that score relatively similar, there's a huge spread in how much text they actually retrieve. Which brings us to, well, I mean, should we actually take that into account? If you evaluate in recall precision terms, then there is some mechanism to at least avoid retrieving non-relevant text, but yeah, retrieving more and more relevant text is still a good thing. And coming back to my motivation, we long ago built a system that looked a little bit like this snippet thing. So this is a system that per result doesn't show one snippet, but actually shows some of the document structure, some of the results having relevant text, and some of the text of these results. So we really want to focus now again on the effort and the effort aspect. So how much effort does it take, also in the measure, so basically reading effort. So if you have to spend a lot of reading effort to reach a certain, on average, good balance between precision and recall. So basically you can, if it's simple to get good recall, you can actually, okay, lose some precision. And you see that many systems are doing that. Whereas in the user's interest, it might be better to actually get results that are at least also high precision, high enough precision. Some things about the ongoing INEX 2010. So I already showed you something of the ad hoc track. We'll look very serious at effort, which means basically we'll use the old measures as before, which are basically precision and recall extended to the case at hand. And we'll look at a lot of effort measures, and there were some recent proposals from Tampere, which we'll run, and we'll probably run some more. And this is also more viewing the task as this snippet generation I just showed you. There's a very interesting new data-centric track, which uses data which is even much more structured. The collection is based on IMDb, so it's per movie you have a record with, there's lots of textual things in long fields, but it's much higher structured than kind of general web text. But you also have per actor, you have a record with lots of information and some other instances. So actually it's also an interesting case of combining. So when to use what kind of information, how to combine it. There's also an interesting web service discovery track. I knew relatively little about that domain and thought this probably is not an interesting track until they explained it, because there's many, many, many web services out there, and the way to discover a good web service is often done based on the textual description they give. And there's a special language for that. They get more and more interesting and more structured and more interesting. So this is a large corpus of actual web services available with the descriptions as they are there and with realistic topics on discovering these services. I already mentioned the interactive track, which continues strongly, and yeah, I'm just stressing the interactive track because I find it very important to have an interactive track in any evaluation exercise to at least keep this discussion ongoing. Most tracks continue, so we actually grow in number of tracks despite me trying to not grow in number of tracks and have more concentration, but somehow we are completely volunteer run, so if somebody has an idea and wants to do it, we're not going to stop you. There's a website where you can find a lot of information. We have the annual proceedings. INEX 2009 proceedings is actually out since August, available from LNCS and any bookstore near you. And the workshop we had in Brisbane last year, we used to be in Dagstoel, but we outgrew Dagstoel, unfortunately. Then we moved to Brisbane, which was risky. So we lost a few participants there, and we hope they will come back by locating it in the Netherlands and choosing a venue which is at least close to the DAX tool spirit. So for any of you that has no clue what I'm talking about, please come to the Netherlands and you will experience why INEX is different. Thank you.